today. Said I was gonna come back today. Let's see, we got people coming on board. See what I'm working with. See what we're working with. See if anybody's on board. I told you I was coming back today. Kept my word, so here I am again today. We're very much alive and well, and so we're gonna see what we're working with. If you can hear me, and if you're live, come on through. Get this question up here real quick. What's up? How you doing? I told I was coming back today. Let's see. Let me get this question up. Let me get this question. How you doing? How you doing? Let me work on this question real quick. Keep talking. Should be that poll question coming up. You rewatched MJ was great. Oh, give me the year again because I got to think about that one. So that was a different era. That was a different era. What inspired you to watch it though? What got your interest to watch it? I'm just curious. I'm curious. That was a tough era. I tell it all the time. People don't understand how tough that physicality was. And for guys to still come out of that with an identity says a lot about them. Jordan had to score because they were shutting everybody else out. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? Can you imagine that you score 61 points and your team gets held to like, I don't know, 35? Yeah, his old games were classic. I remember, again, that was a different mindset. The Pistons were physical. There was a lot of pounding. They were aggressive. They were coming at you, double teaming you. That was in an era where, you know, like it's kind of like the NFL today when they do zones and everything. Everybody plays back. They said, we're not gonna let him score. We shut everybody else out. That's what you did back then. That's what happened back then because guys couldn't do it. He was an incredible talent. If you're watching it because you want to know the gist of when people be bragging about LeBron James, LeBron couldn't hold a candle to him. It was a different era. With LeBron, how LeBron would have fared in that era, he could have had a moment. But I'm gonna tell you like this: I don't know if LeBron would have been. He probably might have been a junior whopper of Dominique Wilkins. It was tough. Jay Will coming out the blue. That's funny. They're not the best team ever though, but nice try though. Jordan had better footwork. No, I'm not gonna stop it. They're not the best team I've ever saw. They were great, and Steph Curry had one of the greatest years I ever had. Even though Steph Curry's year in 2016 wasn't his points per game wasn't that much better than Dwayne Wade's. Just saying, scoring wise, it wasn't. He just shot better threes. In the regular season, they had an incredible regular season. I'll give you that. But they didn't win the ring. You know, and I come from an era, it don't mean a thing if you don't win that ring. People coming in, please hit that like too, by the way. I see more people coming in. If everything goes right tonight, I will be on for 2 hours. We can cover a lot of ranges. I like Jay Will, you up here to stop. I ain't stopping nothing. They're not the best team I saw play. They were great for the. I'll be honest with you. As great as they looked in 2016 with Kevin Durant, they were unbeatable. King of what? Did Kyrie Irving not hit the biggest shot of that game? Did Draymond Green not get suspended for game six? Tell me how all these things don't help. This is myth that people want to sell for their era. And I get it. I get it. You go by what you see. But remember, some people saw a different totality. I seen the Celtics of the 80s. I seen the Lakers of the 80s. I saw some of the Bulls teams of the 90s. I saw the Lakers of 001, Shaq and Kobe. I saw the Sixers 83 team. I seen Golden State. Go and I seen the Spurs who don't get no love. He said he wants to play Olympics or another country. For another country? Are you saying for another country? Yeah, I ain't got no problem with that. For another country. He should have gotten a tryout. I ain't got no problem with that. If I'm Jason Tatum, I want to too. And I ain't stutter when I said that either. If I was Jason Tatum, I'd join Kyrie and I go to make up a country. I go somewhere. The way the dissing that goes on, the politics that goes on, he was physical. He knew how to hit his spots. So you see my hand? If you could see my hand, give me a one. If you could see my hand, can you see my hand? So my hand is like how he could face guard him. He could clown into his body because Moses was pounding you. You know, like when you watch boxing. Okay. Um. So like if you punching right, you know, like when guys are getting punches and they pounding, and it doesn't seem. It seems like they hugging. No Diddy. This ain't a Diddy party. But you know when they're like close and they're just hitting up the shots. He was giving him shots. So Kareem had to bulk up because he was wearing on him in the. He was pounding him like a boxer. It wasn't, and it got physical like that. Moses made you play physical. Moses got into your cage, so you could frail and throw them hooks, but he was gonna come and then he was gonna just guard you like so. So he was just like leveling into his wheelhouse. Yeah, he is. What makes you say it like that though, Ted? Because of how him and Jimmy Butler are? I mean, that's true. And I told you, as I got asked the question yesterday, he got his game from Red Auerbach. That whole mindset, the mantra, that was part of it. But yeah, Moses got into that cage, man. It was all, as Shaq would say, barbecue chicken. Kareem didn't have no hind parts to mess with no Moses. That was a different era of posting up. That's why people hate on Shaquille O'Neal. But he did what you're supposed to do. Pound the guy, pound him, pound you. It depends on what Shaq is playing. The 70s had parity. You do know that, right? The Knicks won two titles in the 70s. I think that. Oh, well, um, yes, because of Jimmy and LeBron, he has rings. Oh, he got into it with Shaq. He had a couple confrontations with a couple people. It's just that he earned his keep because his method worked. Nah, well, nah, I'll tell you like this. There was a guy named Wilt Chamberlain. There was a guy named Nate Thurman. There were big guys, Artis Gilmore. Not so much with size. Daryl Dawkins was big, and he was no match for Kareem. dexterity. There was different guys with shapes. You know, it's skill set. So a lot of it with Shaq would depend on who Shaq was playing with. You gotta remember the team and the squad you have. That raw boned Shaq in Orlando was great, but it didn't have no organization. Remember that. So when you don't put the right pieces in place, you gotta have pieces in places. Jimmy, who are you talking about? Yes, because Jimmy and LeBron he ain't get no ring for no Jimmy Butler. They got to two runner ups. They didn't win nothing. No, he had a reputation before that. You remember when he was with the Lakers? You know, he pushed Showtime, and of course with the Knicks, and he came to the Heat. Players don't come to Pat Riley out of pocket because he can back it up with the lifestyle and the success. That's what he got you on. Cats today getting the money, but if you come to Miami, you come to win. You're not coming just to get a bag. That's what Jimmy Butler hasn't gotten through his dome. You got to go another level. There's levels to this. That's why Pat Riley gave it up for Jason Tatum and Brown. Now. He did. Magic had had enough. You got to remember something. Success sometimes breeds contempt. I know that sounds crazy, but pay attention. The Bulls had to break up. The Patriots broke up. The Spurs didn't. But sometimes, uh, what's happening? How you doing? Um, you know, his philosophy. Cats had already heard enough. They've been through the grind. Uh, what's up, Caleb? The man. What's happening? Um, you gotta remember that they couldn't really that the guys like Worthy was the newbie of the last. What's happening? Good to see you tonight. Good to see you. He couldn't really emphasize that philosophy. Kareem had been through it. Magic had been through it. You know, Worthy had been through it. So AC Green had been through it. So it wasn't like he's gonna. So when he went to New York, he could take that with him. He could take that tough guy and exterior. They had already been through it in the Lakers. They were spoiled. Jaden will be interested in Baltimore. I'm looking for it. You just got to win the game against Detroit. That's all. They were flashy, but they could play to whoever they played against. I remember when they played the Pistons and the Celtics. I mean, they had to adapt. They made it look easy because they came out the West and owned the West. But make no mistake about it, they could play to your style. Because Pat Riley, they were tougher than they let on. They were tougher than what you thought. Came up big. I mean, uh, five rings speaks for itself in the 80s. They were. They were. I mean, when his hair was, he was Gordon Greco. He was Wall Street when he was in New York. I remember it like yesterday. They were. The problem is he didn't have a Magic Johnson as a point guard. He didn't have a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as a center, and he didn't have a James Worthy. They had tough guys, but they didn't have guys that were what I call next level. Patrick Ewing was great for his year, but he wasn't next level, and he didn't have a guard that could match that with Derek Harper. John Starks was like a precursor to what you see with the running gun of shooting. He was the dude that had that it, but he wasn't a starter, and he didn't have that kind of takeover that you needed to win. So that that's why they go gunning and running. Didn't have that next dude. That's what always hurt the Knicks to me. No, what happened in that situation is what I try to tell you about the Buffalo Bills. I told you got to have ego to coach ego. Stan Van Gundy has never been able to coach up ego. He's a strong announcer. I like him personally. I think the cat's down to earth, and he's a good coach, not great. But the same thing happened in Orlando with him and Dwight Howard. Couldn't coach up that ego. He could not coach the likes of a Shaquille O'Neal, who had been to multiple championship finals and had won multiple rings. Yeah, and you know what was Stan Van Gundy? I thought he was in the witness protection program because I didn't see him no more for about a couple of years after that. Pat Riley knew that he had to make a statement. With the Wayne Wade coming on and Shaq, he had to take over the reins. He saw what was there. We got to finish this. We didn't finish it like the year before. We're gonna lose it if we don't get it. That's what happened with that. That's when you know. Remember about Buck Showalter? You smell jewelry. You got to put that ring on. But Kareem was still being the league MVP through the 70s. Tell the truth. He was still a great player. Yes, you got to have a 1-2 punch, but he was still a great player. But you got to have another pieces to the parts. You know, and those guys were not the same caliber of Oscar or Magic. Adrian Danley is one of my favorite players ever. Jamal Wilkes was a great talent, and Norm Nixon was tight. He was steady. Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, you talking about two of the greatest players, top tier point guard, all that. Of course, and being on the, and hitting Kareem right, but they didn't have the depth. That's what happened. But he was still a league MVP, and he struggled. He struggled is probably in terms of what he had to represent as a team, not in terms of his skill set. He was a dominant player in the 70s. Yeah, I remember Van Gundy clashed with that, and I think I talked about this when Turgaloo was on the was juicing up because Turgaloo was balling in that finals against the Lakers. Because I was like, is that he do? He do was balling. He do got swole and hanging on the rim, and I was like, I come to find out. I'm not saying that's why, but he definitely that was my thoughts and my takes with that though. But Kareem was great though. Don't minimize that man. Still was a league MVP. The 70s had a lot of parity. You know, you had Celtics won a couple, the Knicks won a couple, but you had Seattle win one, Washington win one, Golden State win one. That was a parity based era. I think they would have beaten the Lakers. I think that was the Celtics probably would have won back to back. I think that for his legacy, Doc Rivers' legacy, Paul Pierce's legacy, if they beat them twice, I think people look at them differently. And I think KG, I think that was was something that was there. You know, but Dwight Howard was playing out of his mind. He just didn't have the horses against the Lakers. He still didn't have an offense to move, but they were still good enough for what they did. But you know, so yeah, but they had no choice. It was too big. And one thing about these powerful conglomerates, they don't want to have to share the hype. They want to buy it before it gets too big. Believe me on that. ABA was doing things just like the USFL and football. And you can always start something. Um, it's going to be the '08 Steelers. That's not even for discussion. That's the easy. That's the answer right there. The Patriots, you kind of expected them to win. Who saw the '08 Steelers coming back? Especially when they beat Arizona. I mean, Kurt Warner's story. I mean, Tomlin that showed what he could do. I mean, that was yeah. That doesn't get as much. They don't forget. Who forgot? Who forgot? Who you know forgot that's a football fan? I'm an AFC East head, so you know what the Bills. So you know I knew about what Brady's dominance. The only reason it didn't get forgotten is because it was kind of like the same script, different team, but same story type of thing. They didn't forget. Brady was winning back then, and their defense was coming up big, and he made big plays. He had big plays, and Adam Vinatieri was huge. Troy Brown was doing it all. I think it's the way they won. They won in three different ways. Yeah, Tomlin was a bad man. Because I mean, you got to remember what he didn't have for quarterbacks. So he figures out a way to stay 500. So I got much respect for him. How he keeps it going. That man can coach. You know, they just need a receiver right now. They don't have a receiver. Steeler fans, y'all need to go and get your receiver. Spend some money. Shouldn't have spent that money on Russell Wilson if he can be holding a clipboard all year. Which that's the way it's looking right now. Okay, I see more viewers and people. Come on in. If you were in here, feel free to commentate. We're covering a wide range of different topics. As you can see, the poll question is, you cool with Magic and Obama supporting Kamala? Give me a yes or a no. We got some votes so far. 80% say no. I like that. That's a strong feedback. That's what I like to see. Those are the kind of questions I'm gonna be asking. We want to know what you think, how you feel. We cover a wide range in here. We're gonna talk about whatever you want to talk about. As long as we don't offend nobody, we ain't gonna offend nobody. I want to talk about Nick Cannon talking about Diddy. I got videos coming out about some stuff. You'll be getting them real soon. But anyway, feel free to come on through. Welcome, 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 and keep the questions coming. But I do like I hold Mike Tomlin in high regard. Yeah. Everybody get a ring in Tampa, it seems, except for John Gruden. His ring has been turned away. Okay, keep on with some more questions now. Don't get quiet on me now. We rolling. We see some more heads. We see some more likes. That's the way I like it. I'm glad to see people coming through. Well, funny I say Magic and Obama. Yeah, it worked because it's called money and capitalism. They're two of the biggest NBA players of the last 25 years. So from a business perspective, yeah. In Vegas, I think Vegas or Seattle, something like that. It's what the NBA needs to quiet the people like myself who are always leery that how come brothers don't own nothing. So it needs to happen. But you'll get one every 30 years, I like Michael Jordan. We need to have more. I know that's what they're gearing LeBron for, but his behind won't sit down and retire like he should. Shaq is putting in money. More hurtful pro contact player bust in their sport quarterback. More hurtful pro contact player bust in their sport. It's going to be the quarterback. Because what NBA superstar in the NBA that's considered a superstar ends up being a bust? Do tell me. It sure does. I am not going to say that. I am not going to say that. Generally speaking, great players don't tend to make great owners or general managers. Larry Bird happened to have was something. No, I don't think that was the case. I think that the coaching staff, his mindset has been about getting these Carolina folks and not always getting the quality. But you got to have talent around you. I ain't playing. I don't know if LeBron's going to be a great owner. I don't know. You got to remember something. Guys who are successful set such a high standard. It's hard for it to when you're trying to compartmentalize and say, okay, we're gonna do this on the next level. Does it go over? In what regards? What regards? What has he shown you that he can do it? What regards? Oh, I'm supposed to be impressed by Bronny James, the 55th pick, which nobody in their right mind would take. They'll let him in because he didn't sign probably the biggest deal with NNL, but with the endorsements, the success, they'll let him through. But the problem that he runs into, Ted, is this. If it's worth $1 billion right now, maybe two or three, how is he gonna be majority owner? You know what he has to generate before they even let him come to the table? But if he gets to buy some chips in Kansas City, which he should, let's be realistic. All respect to Lamar Hunt, and they hadn't exactly been rolling on the charts of people's interest until he came along. I would love to see that. You know, at the way you're going, you're definitely gonna see a black quarterback. That's a fact. A black coach, that's a dicey situation. Depends on which team where we are, but as a quarterback, oh no doubt now, no doubt now. Not going back. I've been watching things and not going back. I tell you, like I tell you about what I said about Floyd Money Mayweather, and I use it for quarterbacks. You can't hit what you can't catch. That's what Sherry Leonard used to do. You can't hit what you can't catch. You remember Tom and Jerry? Tom trying to catch Mighty Mouse? Think about it. Can't hit what you can't catch. But anyway, I don't know about LeBron. We gotta get to that point. We get to that point, we can have a big old discussion about that. I don't know. And as far as Mahomes, it's a possibility. Yeah. But the problem is what? The capital. How much ownership will he really have? And will he be a token like Magic, or will he really have a say? And you know it's gonna come off to it's gonna come off a bill rack. It's gonna be a big old rack, a bill rack, before they even let him at the door. And I got stories about how some of these so-called people are about when you come to their table, and they've turned down some folks because they don't really want them. That's another video. They should be. Well, they saying that because they get this black and brown. They want to. That's the one I have a problem with. That's the one I have a problem with when they say black and brown. And no one is defending our cause separately, especially not when you say others. Now, this is the thing. If it was like that, I could understand. But that's the false narrative that gets spread. Gotta say black. Don't be afraid to say black, because you gotta think of you first, of what you dealt with. You know, I'll answer this the best way I know how, Jay Will. You keep finding different ways to win. That's how you keep the streak going. Some weeks you'll need special teams. Sometimes you'll get a long field goal kick. Sometimes it'll be a Hail Mary pass. Sometimes it'll be a running game. Games will be a quarterback. Sometimes it'll be another team making mistakes. That's what I'm saying, Ted. That's exactly what I'm saying. But that's the one that burns my behind at the most. Who was it that came out recently talking about black and brown? Who was it? It was one of them Democrats. One of them cats come out and said that. I'm like, you need to stop with that. I've been watching them in California, going more Trump based, talking about, saying what they're saying. I'm like, you ain't getting no love out here. When you talk about movies, oh, the actor that was in Tu Wong Fu, and he was also in Carlito's Way, um, John Leguizamo. He always be popping off his guns to my Brown don't get no love, and you know he don't say nothing about black folk though. So why people gotta feel the need to try to? It's not. We don't get no inclusion. Well, some of them are checking you because some of them was trying to get down with the girls. That's a fact. And then some of them are checking you because this delusion that we included, which ain't the case. It ain't the case, you know. And I I cringe at folks trying to act like it's all in the same, because it ain't. It ain't the same. It's a different reality, political reality. Look at baseball, for instance, and you see how it's manipulated. You know, so it's real. It is real. Yeah. I tell people all the time. I say, how y'all get excited about Jennifer Lopez, but she ain't giving you time of day. Hmm. Work within the lines, but work against the lines. That's what's up. Just checking some stuff out. All right, keep them questions coming. I see more people coming in. I'm gonna try to get that poll up a bit more. I know I got more people got thoughts about Magic and Obama supporting Kamala. I know I do. But feel free. Don't be scared to let it know how you feel. Feel free. Hit that poll up. So far, 80% say no. They're not cool with it. So that tells me we got a good, strong, opinionated folks with that. I like that. Please, let's get some more questions in. Where everybody at? Come on now. I know it's Saturday. People doing stuff. Probably getting ready for old Columbus Day. Weekend. But anyway. know what's up. We're listening and listening and listening. I found out something interesting about Dwayne Wade that he was nominated for an Oscar or something. I got to look into that. So, okay. I didn't even know. Didn't have no idea about anything. So, but yeah, keep these questions coming. Everybody, come on now. Because if you get silent on me, I think you didn't go to sleep. And I'm looking forward to hearing what people got to say. So let's see what y'all working with. By the way, I got a lot of videos coming soon, so be on the lookout after when I'm doing my stream. I gotta do some edits. Worked on some things, and Ted, you definitely inspired. I did the Bradley Bill. It's coming. You're gonna like it. I had a good time with Bradley Bill. Oh yeah, yeah. Is he good? Okay. Well, we'll see. Oh, you know Carlos Boozer's sons are playing for Duke. I saw that yesterday. His twins. I hope they have something to their careers too. Because the only thing people remember Carlos Boozer for is the fact that Prince rented out his house, and that's all people remember Carlos Boozer for. That's all Carlos Boozer's remembered for now. Prince rented out his house and flipped his house for a year. No one talks about his career no more. Wonder why. So yeah, I'll peep out Matumbo son, and I'll see how they progress him. Gonna miss Matumbo. He was down home folk. You know, Trick the Blind Man. Well, that whole craziness. I remember how he played. He had some moments. He had him with the Bulls and Lakers. He had some moments. Most people remember him for renting his house out to Prince for a year. You ain't hear what I'm saying. He had some moments. I don't know how good he was. He was overhyped. I do remember him uh, what's his butt trying to say they were the new Stockton and Malone, that they would be better than. And I thought, you guys was tripping. But you know, but I seen that his boys are gonna go to Duke. That's what I was getting at. So and again, like I said before, that's what Carlos Boozer was mainly known for. And he pretty much faded in Utah and faded in Chicago and faded with the Lakers till that Prince story came about. He had an all right, decent career. Good enough to get a pension. I'll give you. He had some good moments, but the hype that they had was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So okay, now let's get some comments going. I wonder where everybody at. Today I'm loaded for good questions. If people got some questions, feel free to answer. A lot of tough and random ones too. So you were. You told me the bills were good 3 weeks ago. What made you change your mind? I told you that I didn't buy it, but you didn't listen to me. I told you how I felt about what I saw. They afraid to because they coach is scared. He won't play hero ball. He got to kiss Josh Allen's ring. Don't run James Cook like you supposed to. You're gonna have problems. They'll win that division by default because it sucks over there. If Tua don't come back, Miami ain't gonna finish in second. They'll be battling out for fourth place, but it ain't nothing to be excited about if you're a Bills fan. CJ Stroud just happened to be green and threw a couple bad picks. That's the only reason why they didn't blow the Bills out. He is scared because he don't know how to handle that kind of pressure. I keep trying to tell you. I will give it up to a coach who knows how to finish. A lot of pro is basically knowing how to finish. If someone was to come in here right now and say, how come y'all guys in here always saying Kyle shenanigans? You seen what the 49ers, they did spank Seattle, but that ain't saying much though. Geno Smith's playing good on offense. They defense sucks. The Legion of Boom seems like 30 years ago. They suck. But what's their Achilles when they lost to Arizona? And in the Super Bowls to Kansas, can't finish. To that Rams championship, can't finish. You can't finish, your butt should be on the hot seat. They're going to get a coach who knows what they're doing. McDermott has done good. Like, if you happy with going to playoffs for 30 straight years and get knocked out the second round for about 27 of them, and one time you go to a championship game and the other two first round, he's your man. But if you ever have expectations that, hey, we got to get to a couple Super Bowls, he's going to be gone. And right now, he's a low budget Junior Whopper Jeff Fisher because he ain't getting them to the show. At least Fisher got 10, he bought 30 years of getting a team to the show. You can't have a top tier talent as a quarterback like that and receivers and people and don't get to the show at least once. It's not a good look. That's why I don't really, I kind of like keep a, I kind of keep a shrug shoulders with how I think they're doing because, you know, just keep it 100. So, anyway, that's my takes on that. So keep on. Come on, bring some more questions. We got more people coming in, I can see. Keep hitting up those lights, keep smashing them up, keep it coming. Glad to see people coming through tonight, today. Welcome thoughts and comments. Like I said, the more I see of you, the more I come on here, and then the more we can stay on. Cause I the support, meet me halfway. We can definitely do this. I like doing the live streams, and I like it when people come through. So keep hitting that poll, and if you want to come here and ask some questions, let's do it. And I did get to catch Cam Newton. Thanks, Ted, about that with Cam. I saw Cam on. It was pretty good on first take. It was pretty good. People getting quiet now. Come on now. Feel free to ask some questions whenever you. I like this YouTube channel better. I like him on ESPN because then that's why they got him. See, this is slick on ESPN's part. They know they need to get someone street. And Paul Pierce going over to Fox and what he did to bring Shannon him up a bit. This is all this was. This retaliate. But it made sense because Cam's got a resume. And it does look pretty tacky that a guy with his resume ain't get no love. He looks good. The Mannings are like the Bushes though, or the Kennedys though. But he looks good. I mean, it depends on where he goes in the NFL. Depends on which team he goes to. He looked like he could be hanging to Las Vegas or Cleveland. He'll be just like Archie then. I what hurt Archie Manning. You stuck in Saudi Arabia. That's when the Saints were the Aints. He took a beating for 30 years until he got to Houston. But he looks pretty good. He looks pretty poised. You know, I like what I seen, but again, when you get to the pros of who you're playing with, who's in the system, the talent you got around you, there's all those factors. And if he ends up with the New York Giants, ooh, or the New York Jets, ooh, somebody might tank to try to get him. Ooh, keep that in mind. Somebody might tank to try to get him. I've been saying it. It's sad, 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 sad. Cats taking unnecessary shots, throwing bad picks, trying to squeeze passes in there. They trying to squeeze passes like they're trying to squeeze into a shirt that's too small for them and the buttons rip. Just not good. What's up, Aaron? Glad to have you come through. If you got comments and thoughts, feel free to share them. It's a bad. It's some sad NFL going on. We see a lot of bad parity too. We really don't know what we got. So we will see. We will definitely see what's going on. But I welcome for thoughts and comments. Feel free to keep it coming. The poll is kind of light so far, I guess, and people don't really want to talk about politics. I don't know. No, I disagree with you on that. Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, uh, uh, um, uh, there's a lot of backs going on. I've seen backs playing good. The return of Kareem Hunt. Now that is something no one talks about. Kareem Hunt. Their backs are looking good. They're just not getting the shine. 49ers, Matson's looking good, the rookie. So I don't know what you mean. I've seen some good. I've seen better running backs than I've seen quarterbacks, if I can be honest. Can I say that? I can say that. Shaquan Barkley. Come on now. Now, if your ideal bad running backs means the Dallas Cowboys, well then yeah, I'll give you that. Even though boy did go off pretty good the other game, but there I'm seeing backs look good. I think running backs are going to be good. I just think the NFL has been trying to manipulate with the merging of black quarterbacks and the speed, and they try to act like they're taking that set away. That's what the NFL tried to do. But that's my personal opinion on that, though. So, but I like the running backs this year. Okay, now keep on coming. I'm looking for more conversation. Let's see what we got. What we got. What we got. See what's happening. Let me know what's on your mind tonight. I think the receivers are doing good. I think the receivers are doing good. Offense is kind of a mixed bag. It depends on which team you're talking about. You give me a team in a conference, I'll tell you what I think. Because when you mention this, I can go in different directions. Like right now, Lamar Jackson would look like he get a three league MVPs. Now, and I don't know who all he's throwing to like that, but I'm just saying. I've seen some good receivers though. I like the Jennings cat with the 49ers. Very impressed with what he's doing. I see some good receivers. They're a good team. And they got the kind of pieces that if Sam Darnold doesn't play cute, no diddy. They can do some things because the NFC is pretty much open right now. There is a gap with who could be the best team coming out. And I still think it's the 49ers. I still think the 49ers are going to be the team you got to deal with. I think that but I like Minnesota's defense. Excuse me. I like their defense. I like their uh Jefferson is a bad boy. I think they're going to be a problem. I think their record is real. I think they're legitimate. And if they can win on the road, maintain home, they're going to be. I think they're a legit team, physical team. I think they're really good, very good. Everybody's just mainly looking at Frisco. That's all. I know, and that's how he's getting his revenge. And he called a great game against the Jets because I mean, Aaron Rodgers was trying to throw those pinpoint passes, and they are real. They playing really focused football. They're not loosey goosey. They are legit. You know. But I still think that you got the best division in the NFL right now, probably. Definitely in NFC, because I think Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit are all legit. And Chicago's on the come up. Caleb Williams eventually, because their defense is good too. So special teams, So we'll see. I know he was. He was ran out. And the thing is, it's a mixed situation because Tua's concussions and the lack of Flores' offensive mindset, but Tua's not able to play. So who's looking good right now? See, that's a touchy subject. But Miami is playing gimmick ball, so you know. But I agree with Flores. I know what he had to go through in terms of what he's putting down. He didn't make that up. So, all right. Keep these questions coming. Keep hitting them polls up. Things are looking good. We got more people kind of like scouring through. So let's see what we got. Yeah, I know he did. And you know what? It's a Herbert is frustrating because I don't know how good he really is. Herbert is a guy I don't know if he's with the right situation. I don't know. I don't know. And Tua is got concussions. He's injury prone. Can't stay healthy. But he also has a tendency to throw too many bad picks too. He's a one trick pony. You know, because if he don't hit Tyreek and Waddle on them hooks and curves downfield, Herbert can throw, but he's just not. I don't know. Something's missing. You got a good team. You got the kind of team that if you focus, you're definitely 2, 3 rounds in the NFC. I think you, Minnesota, and Detroit could rep the NFC, and then Frisco, and we'll see what happens with the rest of the NFC. All the best teams are in your division. That's the reality you're dealing with. You gotta actually battle. You have four legit offensive-minded teams in the NFC Central right now, the North. Because the Chicago, but Caleb's gonna get it, and their defense is good. So yeah, I think y'all a really good team. I'm not gonna say y'all great, but you're good. You're good enough to if you can play some defense and you catch Minnesota slipping, or you catch whoever comes out the NFC East, or you catch the 49ers. Um, Coach, same problem I got with Sean McDermott. Coach, he can't coach Joe Burrow. If you agree with what I'm saying, give me a one because I'm gonna ask these questions, answer your questions. You tell me if you agree or not. I think Joe Burrow needs a coach that's got ego. I think that they got too much offensive firepower. They don't play no defense. They're getting beat at home. They look sloppy. They got this mindset like they done something. You beat Mahomes one year and you got to the runner up in the Super Bowl and you lost to the Rams. What have you done for me lately? To quote Janet Jackson, why are you acting like you are going to get a 20-year pass because you was a run up in the Super Bowl? And too cool for school Joe Burrow, who is cool, and I like Joe Burrow, but you're settling on mediocrity. Every year you got to start off 1-5, 1-4, and losing games that you shouldn't be losing. You shouldn't have gotten beat like that by Washington. You should have not lost that game to Baltimore. Why are you losing games like this? What is going? That's the coach, because it's repeat of repeat of repeat, wasting away. And you know what's going to happen, right? Burrow gonna take a shot, get hurt, and then it'll be their cop out for another year or two. Well, he got hurt, we lost him, and he's already just getting dinged as it is. So you can see it. They are the champs for a reason. It's like watching New England again. See, I always tell people that some people say they weren't around or they were too young to remember certain things. You watch things long enough, you start to see deja vu. They're winning with their defense. Mahomes hasn't even really peaked again, but he don't really have to. They dink and dunk. They find ways to win. They beat you different ways. Because if he gets rolling, that's 5 wins by his hands alone. But they're 5-0, and that's what the great ones do. It ain't pretty, but that's how you win championships. And before you know it, he's reeling them off. That's what the great ones do. That's the smart ones figure it out. They always occur by. No, they look beatable, but they still win. Beat Cincinnati, beat Baltimore. That's two of the toughest teams right there. What else you want? Because that's how you win. They win, and they beat top tier teams. So how you it's hard to argue against success. So they're gonna be a threat. And if they get healthy, which is what might hurt them, but if they get healthy, they need a new coach. They didn't quit on Nick Salami or whatever his name is. Jalen Hurts looks lost. He's throwing like a deer in headlights. He's throwing darts in the dark like he's wearing Stevie Wonder glasses. Throw some bad passes, and they're just nonchalant. They were 10-1 last year, and they haven't been the same since. I know AJ Brown's gonna come back, and they got some talent, but talent don't win it alone. There's no chemistry with this team, and it's a waste. Some people question Jalen Hurt, and they question if he is legit. Some of them look at him like he's Kevin Hart because they fell off so bad. He's legit, but they don't finish, and I blame a lot of this on coaching. Again, I think you got to have a coach with an ego. You got to have ego to understand ego. If you don't have ego to understand ego, you're gonna have problems. That's my personal opinion on it. So that's how I look at it. I think Philly is wasting away, and it didn't have to be that way. But you got to have the right coach. And I think, I almost sound like I'm a James Brown record. Good God. But it says a lot about a coach who can coach up a great talent. It says a lot about if you don't have the great coach and the talent to coach up when a guy who's just underachieving. You're not winning. And Jalen Hurt, young right now, they don't win for a couple of years. And then you think about Carson Wentz, and then you're sitting there scratching your head thinking, well, Nick Foles was getting it done. What's the problem? But it's coaching too. Got to have a coach who understands ego. Got to have faith in you. So that's their problem. It's falling from. It's like a dominoes effect with Philly, and I don't know if they can turn it around. They better turn it around, or they're gonna be fighting the New York Giants for third place when they should be first. They should be owning that division. But Washington's playing with heart, and they got the right coach, and they got a young quarterback who's on the right track. So we'll see. They showed something against New Orleans though, but they got to play like that more often. They can shut you down. They got this we can turn on we won't mindset. I see how they play. They went to New Orleans and made Derek Carr look very ordinary and Elvin Kamara look ordinary. So it's not like they don't have it in them. It's just not consistent. They're not a consistent team. And I think they're probably the most disappointing team in the NFL right now. Them and the 49ers for different reasons. For different reasons. They two of the five most disappointing teams I got going in the NFL right now. But Phillies is worse because this was a team that was in the Super Bowl just 2 years ago with the same coach and quarterback, and they didn't just gone into a tailspin of that's sad. That's sad. Okay, so keep these questions coming. We got more people on now. Thank you. Feel free to join the stream if you want to. Don't be shy. We got questions galore. That poll question didn't really hit with a lot of people, but that's okay though. But it's still enough where it's there though. So feel free to, let's see what we got. Oh well, I've been impressed by Jaden Daniels. That's a start right there. The poor Sam Darnold looked pretty good. C.J. Stroud, uh, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. Um, um, there's a few. There's a few. I mean, I think. Murray. It's just that I think he's on the wrong squad. I think he could be good with a legit team because he's done a few things. They just not that good of a team, but he still got something there. Jared Goff is looking good for Detroit. Mm. Big game in Dallas, though, so we'll see. We shall see. Yeah, there've been a few. You know, um, sometimes it's a week by week. It depends on which way I'm looking at it. Well, yeah, because he's like, why are you not reading the progresses? You're not reading the cadences. You know, cats get on the line and they're throwing. And I think I know who you are talking about because there's a certain guy in Tampa Bay. I think I know exactly who you are going with that at. Yeah, they're not reading what they're supposed to. They're missing their marks. You know. And another thing too, by the way, in case you ever noticed, the refs ain't throwing flags all the time now. The selective was when they throwing some of those interference. Guys up there just trying to frail and the balls are being underthrown or being, you know. So yeah, it's bad out here. Yeah, he keeps it simple, which you're supposed to. You know, he's gotten better. Tony Romo's done it good though from the jump, but Brady gets more detail because of the nuances. But it's true. A lot of, and that's what Cam Newton was talking about: game manager and game changer. That's what people. He gave it to you in a more street way too. So, which is a fact. But a lot of these cats, they're not. Because again, Brady was right. They're getting rushed and forced, and you know, if you want me to do my white boys, give me a one. If you want my white, if you want me to do my commentary one, give me a one. Oh yeah, well, Breeze would have been a politician if he hadn't ran his mouth in 2020 when he said what he said about his grandfather and the native. Okay. Well, you know, we want we want to have those guys. We know we need speed at the quarterback position. We just got to make sure that we see it, and we don't want to get beat on this. We got to make sure that we are being real dignified and dignity. That's what we want. We gotta have it a certain way. We need to get another. We need a Russell Wilson. We need a Patrick Mahomes. That's what they. That's what they be saying. We don't really like them, and we didn't like that Kaepernick. But we need to have those mobile quarterbacks. Yes, we gotta run. You can't hit them. You can't get them. We got. That's what they've been saying. That's why you see an influx of black quarterbacks. That's it, in that voice right there. Matthew Stafford. I don't know if we can win this that anymore. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know. Let's go get one. I gotta get one. They got one. I got one. I want that Mahomes. I want that Lamar Jackson. You notice Bill Poland ain't talking that crap about Lamar Jackson no more. Now, have you noticed? Think about it. Yeah, you had mentioned that, and of course I did my video about that, and they all look at it like that. They own you as property. If you ever see the T-shirts, it says the property of what? But no one is making a big deal about it. How come there's the no Jerry Diddy, J Diddy? Where's the J Diddy at? There's the J because they had. Well, you want me to go back in Cowboy Land? You want to read a good book? Read the White House about the Cowboys in the '90s when they won the rings. They had the White House. Michael Irvin knew about the White House. They all had stuff going on. The parties, the whole nine. Jerry didn't had his own escapades. It's kind of Diddy like, Robert Kraft like. You saw him at that picture in Arkansas. Nah, Jerry Jones get down, please. They will never touch an owner. Players are held to levels you can't even. That's not even fathomable. But the owners do what they want. They've been diddying in Dallas. Hmm. But you see, it's been covered. That's why that dude for the Washington, remember the Washington Commanders GM when he said what he said and they suspended him? He wasn't lying though. They just don't want to tell it because it'd be highly explosive. That's why Daniel Snyder got ran out because he was a junior whopper, Jerry Jones. Okay, you want some NFL owner tease? You want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the NFL owners? If Jaguar Wright or Orlando or somebody like that was talking football, the owners, are you kidding me? They make Diddy look like a warmer back. What Jamie Foxx uncovered with Jerry Jones, that's just the tip of the berg. Think about this, right? They gotta tell these owners to go hire somebody black, talk to somebody black, make it look like you care. Think about it. Think about the Rooney Rule. Make it look like you care. Make it look like you concerned. Yeah, we want them all on there. They can run, and we need them. And yeah, but I don't know about the. I don't know about leading. I don't know about that. You go catch that ball. The, you see the video with him and Diddy when Puffy put the ring on? Look it up. They're at that party. He let him wear his ring. And of course, you know, Kraft let Saddam Hussein wear it. No one Saddam Hussein. It was Putin. Putin. Remember? Because Putin got one of his rings. Look it up. So people who don't watch my videos regularly or come here to the live stream, we get into a whole lot of topics that I don't put out on the live stream because, you know, different audiences, different trajectories. But you want me to go uncut? I'm going to show you how sports, music, movies, politics all intertwine. Oh, which one is the wild? What's the wild part? What's the wild part? The Putin part? Is that the wild one about Putin? Because that happened some years ago. There's that video though. If you watch with Diddy and Kraft, they sitting down there and he's putting his ring on, big old ring. And Meek Mill is there too. You know what he is. Oh yeah. And don't forget about the massage at the AFC Championship game. Getting his back by the Mahomes, where they won that. Yeah, don't forget that. And they gave him some special award or something. I mean, it's I can't make this stuff up. Kraft be wilding too, cause he act like he having losing his mind, but he be trying to hang all up on there and all the stuff he be doing. I see him watching his. He be doing his little dinky dance. The Robert Kraft be bopping, and all this stuff that happened. He had to have known about Aaron Hernandez too. I heard about that, and I'm gonna talk about that too. I I was going to. I'm going to touch about Terrence Williams because there's always one that always tries to get in that. And when you're doing the mega dance, you're gonna get mega. They're gonna remind you. And I'm sure Trump. Yeah, but you know, see, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't be feeling sorry for them turkeys. What part of it did you feel that you got accepted on? What part? I watched Trump speeches. I ain't heard him say no more. We're gonna give you reparations. I ain't never heard him say, uh, I'm going to, I want to keep the sentiment of Malcolm X and Dr. King and Nelson Mandela. I want to keep their energy alive. I believe we can do this. I feel that yeah, they do until you get them pieces and get called out your name and look at you strange. I mean, you know, and if he ain't bought and paid for as one of those audience members that says Black for Trump, that he really is ridiculous because you know this is gonna happen. You know this is gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen. But see, this is the game that's being played. Trump is they're playing a double hand. They said, "Well, we're bringing everybody in, and they're trying to take that black job. They want to take that. You know, they're gonna try to take your black gear. Make sure you wear your gear. If you wear your gear, I'll put you front and center. What happens if I get beat up? Well, I don't know much about all that, but just wear your gear. And you get beat up, we'll get you something." Oh well, yeah, because that was so whitewashed. I mean, the guy with metal was his name was Kareem. He had the it was. It was like a you know, but it's so Archie Bunker. It was like it wasn't even the cat was a light skinned brother, soft spoken, preppy brother, and the way the Tony Soprano went into it was like you thought his name was Agbar and he had dreads and he was chocolate brother and he was like he was like he's Agbar Abdullah. He's like, yo, metal, yo, I like this crib, but I mean it was done in such a conservatory way that it was which goes to show me that as strong as Sopranos was as a show, they still had a very meek. They didn't really take it to a level where it could have gotten. It was just really corny, and the cat was really generic. And that's the blackest brother you could get with metal. I'm like, come on now. I had understand they had brought a Don Cheadle brother in there. Remember when Don Cheadle was on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air? If you ever seen that episode, and him and Hillary's like, yo, what's up? You know, had some swag, had some cool, brought some zest to it. You know, brought some flavor to it. Not some milk toasted cat that you know he was a light skinned brother with but it was it was almost like that is as deep as y'all gonna get. So there was some things about the Sopranos, and obviously that was offensive, but it was actually more offensive because it didn't really flesh it to being deep. That was the problem I had with it. It was like if this was 1972, 73, or 82, 83. That's how bad. Well, I said that because her fans and all the base there. I said you really want to address it, flip it, but she ain't gonna flip that. But come out with some brother. Now I'm gonna tell you, if she was to do it right, make him come out looking like Seal. Don't make him come out looking like Jaden Smith. Make him come out with some attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like Caitlin Clark comes out with a brother, and she's MC Lights on Roughneck. Come out with something like that. Come out with something that nobody it did flip it. Oh, they would. But see, ain't nobody gonna do that though. Ain't nobody today that's a white entertainer gonna pull a Marlon Brando like he did at the Oscars and leave that Oscar standing there and just ain't nobody gonna do that. As far as the social media and people liking clicks and views and trying to act like they about something different, ain't nobody gonna do that. Ain't nobody gonna do that. It's too corporate today. It's too corporate today. I'm not saying there won't be no one that won't, but I don't see it though. I don't see it. It's too bought and paid today. Come out today and you be like, I don't know, I'm not, I don't want to mess up that. You're not gonna do it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Come out here with some brother with a big X cap on and talking about. I still listen to talking about. I listen to Dead Prayers. Yeah, come out saying something like that. Mm-hmm. And Caitlin Clark comes out with a brother and says, "We not like y'all. Y'all not like us." That would be gangster. Let her get on stage. Let Kendrick Lamar have a segment where Caitlin Clark emerges on stage in a dance routine and they playing Not Like Us. Let that be the let something like that happen and see what happens. Let's just see what happens. See, because you need something that would just blow the minds away. That's what I'm trying to say. That ain't gonna happen, but that's just I'm playing this imaginary game right here because we live right now. For the people just coming on, we just be saying anything. Not drunk, not high. This ain't a Diddy party. This all very coherent. I'm just throwing some things out there just to see how I could make Caitlin Clark more cool and more chic if she was a real rebel. If she wanted to rebel against that, you know, the CK script, there you go. That's how it would be. I have a good agenda with it. Make play Not Like Us real loud. It would be crazy. But she ain't gonna do that though. She ain't gonna do that though. I seen Angel Reese though. She been on some things lately. Angel Reese be out there floating. I see more people in, more people in, more people in. 67% now saying no. 33% saying yes. Okay, I'm gonna vote. I can believe it. I can believe it. You know, if the shoe on the other foot, Angel Reese would be seen as a princess. She got a ring. She done something Caitlin Clark ain't done. Win. As Herm Edwards would say, just win. And it's not Magic and Bird because first of all, they're not historical for they're playing in WNBA and until teams win and have success and so on and so forth, then we can have these debates. But it's a whole different situation, you know. So but I'm not surprised though. I'm never surprised or shocked. I get asked all the time, how come you're not shocked or surprised? Because racism is never going anywhere. It's just coded and it's painted and lathered in ways that you can't put you can see it, but then you try and express it. So that's all. People do a good job of coding it up. That's what they do. Thanks for reminding me about Terrence Williams too, because I'll do a video about that. I'll definitely give him an acknowledgement. Definitely. I still got some stuff I'm working on too, because I got to talk about what's her butt where's she at? Yeah, well, that's what they want. But first of all, her team, it's all about trying to make her look more like she was. Yeah. Oh, I gotta do a video about Sabrina Carpenter real soon. We'll talk about her soon. Yeah, I know. I did a video about that thing about her being unanimous. I did a video about that. And again, you know, that's something that they're getting excited about because they're trying to milk it. But what's it mean? Team got knocked out in the first round. What's your point? I mean, that's all I keep coming back to. 71% says no to Obama and Magic. So Ted, how you feel about that question? We got Obama and Magic not doing so hot. You might get the Mets and the Yankees, or you won't get the Mets in Cleveland. What you think? Anybody ain't gonna watch that World Series. I don't think we'll watch that one. Nobody wants to see the Mets in Cleveland unless Cleveland won the World Series. Because they're the only team that ain't won that's from a long, long, long time ago. The powers that be would love the Dodgers and the Yankees. Shohei against Aaron Judge. Come on now. Mookie Betts against Giancarlo and Soto. Come on now. It's a lot of storyline and history. Shohei can finish it up this year. He'll have a magical year. But Mookie Betts coming on, though, I'm tell you. So got some interesting stuff coming. So it's gonna be good though. Yeah. I would think that would be the Dream World Series, but the Mets. I'm gonna tell you, the Yankees, the Dodgers, Yankees, and Mets are the three most intriguing teams going. No offense to Cleveland, Detroit, but those are three most intriguing. So we shall see. We shall see how it all plays out. This is nice back to back days. I might do this again. We'll see how everything goes with the kind of situations because I'm definitely gonna be, you know, I might decide to do my football live. We'll see what happens Tuesday night. We'll see how things look. Or if I don't do it, I'll do it at the end of the week though. But yeah, we'll see how everything goes. Keep the questions coming though. The votes done picked up a little bit. I know I got some heads in here because I can see the views. Just need more people to come on. Don't be afraid. If y'all want to come on here live, feel free to come on through too. We talk about everything. We're not limited. We're not limited. By all means, feel free to come on through. See a few more views coming in. 71% says no, they're not cool with Magic and Obama. I like that part. I like that part. I got no problem with that. Okay, now. Don't go quiet on me now because I need people to come on through. If you got questions, feel free to ask. If you're bored and going to sleep, let me know because I don't want to hold nobody up. If anybody got any questions, feel free to bring it on. Sure, people got interesting stuff going on Saturday, though. Let's see what we got. Hopefully, we get some more people coming through. I will say this if I don't hear nothing else, I'll cut this in 12 minutes. If I do hear something else, I'll go on for 2 hours, but gotta have to make sure that people go, oh, okay, okay. Um, well, you never like hearing that. Um, but the timing of them coming up with the Netflix thing is like, I don't know. I don't know. He hasn't looked well in a minute, but again, I don't know. Does that make you? Does it change your opinion of him or no? Okay. Well, tell me why you don't have a problem with that. She pushed him back in '08, '07. She's trying to plead the fifth. She's trying to distort her relationship with Ben Affleck. I don't think she wants anything to go to New York. I'd be very surprised aside from visiting her mama. I bet it wouldn't be surprised if she tries everything in her power to stay out. She was in the Hamptons when the whole thing about in August. She's very aware of the situation. If she has to go to court, she will jeopardize herself. She knows about Shine doing that bid for her and Diddy. Yeah, she is. I've done videos about that in the past. She's up there slobbing on Harvey Weinstein, and she's got association with Diddy. She's down with the industry and the whole thing with Tyler Perry and a whole lot of people and Lee Daniels and stuff. There is their alleged mafia situation going on, alleged situation. She's part of a situation. Her and Gail King are in on it, and John Legend too. Allegedly, 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 allegedly. Why were you mad? She did an interview with him when she was big, but Michael made her even bigger. But why were you mad? Because if you understand, there are no friends in that industry. I don't think she will end up having to go to court if she can plead the fifth and she can cop out. But I will tell you this though, she's got a videotape circulating. She benefited from Shine going to prison. Puffy's team and everything paid her not to have to get locked up. She was bought and paid for by Time Mottola, and she's got a lot of things that are tied to situation. So she knows stuff. Will they ever get that out of her? Jury's out on that. But let's just say she knows stuff. Um, I don't even think she was defending when he was alive. I think she just gave lip service. She got mad when he did that interview with Gwen Patrol's Diane Sawyer. Yeah, that's Patrol's stepmother-in-law, something like that. That she got upset right there. She got in her feelings. But you know, she wasn't really on his side. Oprah turned on him a long time ago. The industry turned on him. You know, he spoke out against Clive Davis. He spoke out against a lot of people. You know, when he so go back 20 years ago, 21 years ago exact. Tom Mottola got fired by Sony. Michael Jackson aired him out for how he treated Mariah, how he treated black artists, how the whole nine. Look up that interview. Look up that protest in Harlem when Michael Jackson spoke out against Mottola and his protest signs and everything he said. Should answer some of your questions. Oprah plays for the side that pays. Remember that. She plays for the side that pays. She has no loyalty. Yep. Yep. Gayle King, and she still does. And someone brought up a good point. Jaguar Wright brought up a good point. She said that interviewed Jay Z, never said anything about R. Kelly, and say anything about Aaliyah, didn't say nothing about nothing. Think about it. That's an interview that was recently how he was showing off his masters. Yeah, well, yeah, because I mean, Janet Jackson had every right. DL is bought and paid for. DL is bought and paid for. If you understand what I mean by bought and paid for, put up a one. If you don't, put up a two. If you understand what I mean by bought and paid for, put up a one. If you don't, put up a two. But DL Hughley is bought and paid for. And I'll go into details about DL. Yeah. The cat ain't had a career since what, 20 years ago? He does these wax stand up shows. Okay. Bought and paid for is that he gets paid by a certain group to say what they want because he's like a head figure that they can use. They say, well, we need you to, I'll get my way. We need you to go talk to them, you know. D.L. Hewlett ain't got no pull like that. Like, first of all, right, who sits around going, yo, D.L. Hewlett? No one has ever held D.L. Hewlett in the same context as Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, or even Kevin Hart. Can I say it again? He's never been held in that capacity with Chappelle, Kevin Hart, or Cat Williams. Well, you just asked me. Okay, it never ends well because you get used, and then when they ain't got no use for you, they do you like Diddy. And On top of that, they make a joke out of you. And then you don't have any money and you don't have any friends. Then you're stuck around just scratching your head. DL is always corny. He's always run of the mill. And he's one of those kind of people that he was on that show. But what part of King was he? Was he as good as Cedric the Entertainer? Was he as good as Steve Harvey? And was he as good as Bernie Mac? Come on now. They get used. There's no respect because they know that you'll say, they'll say hi and you'll go, how high can I go, massa? That's what ends up happening. There is no respect. You say whatever it takes to act like you getting a little pat on the head and a cookie. Yeah, and he had a boring segment on the King of Comedy too. No one that I know of bought that mess. He just got hooked up. But that's what happens. You get some people that want to be accepted and they think they act like they're gonna say, you gotta do this, you gotta vote this way. You know. You get them in politics all the time. All these black politicians rolling up for Trump. All rolling up for Kamala. Boy, it's embarrassing on both sides. That's why there's no party for us there. Yep. I know he was on the tour, but did I look at him as a king of comedy? Heck no. He never was worthy of being having a crown for no king. What did he do? I'm gonna call you out, Arnell Mickle Jr. D.L. Hughley was a third tier comedian, maybe a second, maybe a second if I feel like being nice on a couple of nights. There's nothing memorable about his stand up. I go back with D.L. Hughley when he had a skit and some segments on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. You know, but he was always a Junior Whopper version of better comedians. He was never front and center. In the 90s, he wasn't seeing no Martin Lawrence or Chris Tucker. He wasn't even seeing Chris Rock. Okay? We're not even talking about them. His era would be Chappelle and Martin Lawrence. We're not saying about Pryor and Murphy and Red Fox and them. Pretty much. It was just a little bit more that it was adult, but it was a tad bit more. But there's nothing memorable about him. He's one of the last people that sits there and slurps it up with Vlad. That's what happens. Just like Ari Spears and them. He had a show. And how memorable is it? Is it as memorable as the Steve Harvey show? I like Monique, but then Monique is trying bad to get acceptance. I liked her when she was talking about back in the day, and when they whiteball her, and when what's his butt from Lee Daniels was all funny with her. No, she said some things, but she did give the Jacksons love though. She said a few. She didn't say anything that was heinous though. That I would say that she disrespected. She did. She had. She did come around on some things. I liked her comedy. I liked the two Ted. I liked her comedy. I thought she was funny, and then of course it's Precious. Think about it. She won all them industry awards, and they didn't want to give her the time of day. She done won every award that John Legend pretty much won, and Common too. And they black woman not getting the bag, getting dissed. Come on now, Monique deserved better than that. He been doing that. He ain't start. I go back 30 years ago after CB4 came out. He was on Politically Incorrect hanging out with Bill Maher. Bill Maher is like a rest haven for busters. Him on there, Kid from Kid and Play, and Michael Eric Dyson all sit on that Bill Maher couch. And Chris Rock never could transition to the big screen. He could get the one liners, and he just didn't make it as an actor. Yeah, he was. Well, you're shocked. He had some funny lines, and he said some quotes that he was always trying to be appealable. I like the Parker Show too. Yeah, well, he came out the Eddie camp. He came from the Eddie Murphy camp, and when he said that whole thing about C list, CJ, what's that comedian? C Lewis. You know that dude C Lewis. So he's the N word. He said it about these comedians and said this stuff. No, Rappaport played like he was down, but then over time, the facade came down. That whole character that he played in Higher Learning came out. It wasn't always like that. No, Q-Tip, um, like not talking because he was with Nicole Kidman and all that, but Q-Tip's always wanted to have crossover appeal. He tried some different things, you know. That's not a listen. Most of them rappers are actors, okay? Yeah, in case you don't know, most of the rappers are actors, okay? Most of them, they're gonna go one a couple ways. They acting, Starburst crew, and anything will do. Okay, I said it. Rappers got a problem with me. Come on, acting, Starburst crew, or anything will do. And most of them had association with Puffy. No, said that's not my problem with him, and that just that with Eminem. It's his whole demeanor. Because Jimmy Iovine owns him, and Dre's always been wanting that lifestyle. So he cracks me up how he try to be articulate and try to be deep and stuff. But yeah, he still be thugging on folks too, cause he got that lawsuit too. Well, of course he gonna rock with Eminem because Eminem put him in a situation that it's like he gotta get that bag. They didn't let him do that with Snoop. Just like Timberland. Timberland went pop too. Timberland got all that money with Timberlake. Think about it. Said he was gonna run from R&B too. He had no choice but to sign him because I'm gonna tell you why. Aftermath was not making any money, and it's a $10 million lawsuit because I think it was the counsel or something for his wife. Something went down and he said he emotional abuse. He was sending some crazy text messages. It's all out there. I did a video on it, and he's got a tendency to be kind of on the prone violent too. He has a tendency to be kind of vile. Certain aspects of Dre, his past. All you have to do is look up D Barnes, and you have to look up Michelle. Um, Dre Day. I like all of Chronic. Chronic is one of the best hip hop albums ever. I like all his old stuff. Keep the heads ringing. Well, it wasn't him necessarily signing. It was Jimmy Iovine requested it. Okay, it goes back to what I was just telling you. Jimmy Iovine requested, put them together. At that time, Aftermath had that shoddy report because he came out with that Aftermath album with had Nas and all that. It didn't do much. The Firm. So 98 Eminem that hit big, brought him back, brought him back big. So when he came up with Chronic 2001 and Still Dre, which was ghost written by Jay Z and Snoop and them, and then he had Eminem on there, and they made that reference to D Barnes, and he had need to all that. So and it's mainly from the Chronic and also from Chronic 2001. None of the last album he did. That went direct to streams. And he was another one that was hating about music being from Napster and all that. He's so corporate and even funny. doing it though, Charlene. Should they be? They are held accountable. Let me address that. They are being held accountable. The whole thing with Puffy is going back 30 years. The whole thing with him and Cassie is what got this went back 8 years. Yeah, they shouldn't be, but they are. People lie all the time. They say no double jeopardy, but they're giving them triple jeopardy. No, with D Barnes was real. I remember that. And then him and Eminem made a joke of it in the song. But ain't nobody saying nothing. But you know the running joke about Dr. Dre. The Grammys got an award named after him, the Dr. Dre World Award. They call him the Ike Turner Award. That's what they call him. Answer your question, Ted. It's Jimmy Johnson. No, it's not fair because it contradicts the law. They say there's no double jeopardy, but they take everything from the past and regurgitate it again. It happened to R. Kelly's case. It's not fair, but that's what they do. They lying because they don't stick to what they're supposed to. They tie two cases together. They did that to Michael Jackson in 2005. They tried to tie it all together. It's double jeopardy. They lie to people. They say, oh no, the Constitution said we're not, but they lying. No, it's Jimmy Johnson. I'm going to defend. I'm going to defend. Yeah, the case in 2005. He got arrested 2003. 2005 was the verdict. My point is they was using the 93 and they were using them both. That's what I'm getting at. Jimmy Johnson, because Jimmy Johnson that shook that team up. They lost to the 49ers 30 years ago. Deion Sanders went to the 49ers. They had to get Deion out of there to get their thing back with Barry Switzer. That messed up Jimmy. That messed up a dynasty in Dallas. They won back to back. They beat my Bills twice. They did beat Pittsburgh 3 and 4 5 years. Jimmy Johnson stays. They might win 4 or 5. You never know. Just saying. Whereas with Phil, it's true, but thing about it, Phil didn't get messed up the first three-peat, and the second three-peat was dicey. Jordan, Bryman, and Pippen were older, so we won't know. But Irvin, Aikman, and Emmett were younger. We do know. It goes back further than that. It's also the stomp out in the Brooklyn at the gym back in '91, which I remember very well, but no one cared about that. Biggie and Pac, that's an industry thing. That's an industry thing. It's fashionable to put him attached to it, but then look at the players. Who benefited from Biggie and Pac being gone? Jay Z and Puffy. Because Jay Z got bigger as an artist and Puffy became an artist. Think about it. That's how Jay Z's in the middle of it. He'd been around, but it was after the both of them gone that he blew up. And Puffy took over and became this artist. That's what happened. And they both happen to have labels. Both happen to be so-called CEOs. They are. I did a video about that. If you watch my videos, I tapped onto it. I got a video out about that. She's right. She's right. She's right. She's right. Um, the reason why she's right is because Beyonce, her father and them, they ran off a lot of people and the members of the group. And all those awards that they got at these award shows, they done some stuff that they got all these awards and they've been put in this position. But what does it mean? You know, and it's stuff that to the naked eye might seem like she's being far fetched. She's not though. I'm down with Jaguar. 8.5 out of 10, I agree with Jaguar, and I tell you why. Because she was an artist in that business. She didn't make the song cry. She was doing work with Jay Z. She saw stuff up close and personal. She saw everybody interacted. Everything she said connects the dots. She calls out Clive Davis. She calls out Jimmy Iovine. She calls out all the big wigs. Probably call out Time Mottola too. Saw what how Mary J. Blige saw all of it unfold. How they had to bounce to Beyonce, how it was done, how Aaliyah, all those things connect the dots. It's black R&B hip hop from the 90s onward, and you're seeing it sinking like Titanic before you. Pierre doesn't have as much clout as he thinks he did. Okay, man, we're gonna do the raw deal. It's gonna be Terrell Owens, man. Come on, man. No one cares about Earl Thomas. Earl gave the Seahawks gave Pete Carroll the bird when he left. His personal life is one thing. T.O. in Philly had to take the blunt because Donald McNabb could not make it at couldn't hold his own. And he choked in that Super Bowl. And that's when Andy Reid wasn't Andy Reid that he is now. The Andy Reid of today wins that Super Bowl. T.O. played out his mind. Of course, it's T.O. He was on one leg. On one leg, he was waxing New England's defense poetically, no matter what Belichick will say. She's not exaggerating things because he's future, but T.O. is considered one of the three greatest receivers ever. Is Earl Thomas considered one of the three greatest at his position ever? It's T.O. And Earl Thomas did get that ring, and he did have back-to-back situations in Seattle. T.O. got robbed out of a ring in Philly. And T.O. got seen as the bad guy when Donald McNabb choked and gagged. I'm going to stick up for T.O. He did the thing. There's no exaggeration, not what she's hitting the facts about what they've done business wise and what she's seen. If you know, Beyonce always required people to give her co credit on songs. Most of the artists do that anyway, but she made it emphatic that she had to get a co production credit. There was a lot of stipulations. Her daddy put that in place. So she went from one pimp daddy to another pimp daddy, from Matthew Knowles to Jay Z. That's how her game has been bread has been buttered. They ran roughshod, and they have ran roughshod. That's what's gonna come out that she ain't as nice as she's trying to project it because she never comes off as being nice. And people have held her accountable for taking credits. Well, you just got through asking me, and T.O. Uh, was a huge listen. No offense to Freddie Mitchell and the Eagles that I remember at receiver, but they were third tier dudes. It was kind of like Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, but no Teddy Pendergrass. That's what T.O. was like. The ones you didn't know. But McNabb cried and moaned and all that. And then Jeff Garcia comes along and T.O. goes every place and everyone. And I'm not going to say T.O. didn't have some issues but misunderstood. But I'm going to say this, though. He balled in that Super Bowl. They were. You remember them, too. You couldn't give them receivers away. They had that NFC Championship game where they looked good. But T.O. came in the Super Bowl on one leg. That was an Isaiah Thomas 88 kind of performance on one leg. McNabb was in there gagging in the huddle, ooh, like he had some bad pizza or something, just barfing and choked. And Andy Reid wasn't Andy Reid that you see now. That Andy Reid 20 plus years ago is why he got let go. The Andy Reid you see now, you're gonna give him his own booth. When he retires from Kansas City, they yeah. I liked Harold Carmichael. Come on now. I liked Harold Carmichael. He was tall. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar looking wide receiver, tall and could catch and was strong. But yeah, T.O. was like burner, man. Come on, T.O. was bad. T.O. is considered one of the top two or three greatest receivers ever. Harold Carmichael might be in the 11 to 20 plus slot. That he was fidgy. That he was always moaning about not getting enough passes thrown his way. That's all. But I liked his heart. I know he could play. And he dropped too many passes for me on the bombs. That was my other problem. He get behind you, you may drop the passes. That's my problem. But the debate about who was better, him and Randy Moss, that's a debate. Harold Carmichael ain't in that conversation. I liked Harold Carmichael, he ain't in that conversation. So no. But I like T.O. a lot. We getting fired up in here now. Okay, I wish this poll would come on, go more, but we got more faces coming in here. 71% say no. Ooh. So people not feeling Magic and Obama. That one is not going down. He learned learned from him, but he didn't pick up his subtlety. Jerry Rice beat you in different ways. T only beat you one way. I think T.O. could have probably. I think he's in shape to still play, but Jerry Rice could beat you in different ways. That's why the rack was created. T.O. didn't learn all that. He just got into a whole lot of showmanship. That's what A.B. learned a lot of that from. To play like Jerry Rice, you could probably play 20 years and look on top of your game for 17. Megatron was a very talented receiver. But what about Megatron? Caught a lot of passes and he was talented. They never had the right quarterback and they didn't win nothing. And some people will say you know, he did. He could hit slants and stuff, but his was predominantly that he could go down the field on you because he was a big boy and he could go and he had a motor on him. Let's not get it twisted. His antics and his moves is what got him notoriety. But Jerry Rice was the king, the godfather of the yak, though. Jerry Rice made that a statistic. There's the difference. And I like T.O. a whole lot. Megatron was good. He was very good. Megatron probably be a top 10 receiver ever, but I don't know if I put him in my. I'm not putting him in with them guys that I got. Okay. I got 14 more minutes. So let's keep getting some more questions in. I'll give everybody 2 hours. I've been putting the hours down this week, so make sure we get on here for a minute. So I'll be here for another 15 minutes. So let's see what we got. John Moran or Ant? I like Isaac Bruce. Isaac Bruce is underrated, underappreciated. Who I got out of Jaw and Ant? I got Jaw right now because Ant's got to come back with it this year. Jaw because there's nobody on his team. Plus, he got his team further. He didn't have no Rudy Gobert, no Cat. I know Westbrook as far as defense go, but he didn't have that kind of talent that Ants got. Ants got more trajectory because he got outside game. So we're gonna see. But I think Jaws got a better career thus far. We'll see. Ants got a more better upside. And I'm gonna be honest with you. When you ask this question, they want Ant to be the face of the NBA. They don't want no parts of Ja. They would assume if Ja just went away. Believe me, if Ja even sneezes or looks funny, they're gonna try to get a puffy case. Oh yeah, easily because Inside Out and with Brunson and him, I saw what they got. This is how they're going after Boston. They're going after Boston. That's what's up. Of course, it's Keenan McCardle. If you play in Jacksonville, you on a milk cart. No one knows where you are. Everybody knew who Donald Dry was. Keenan McCardle was putting up numbers. No one cared about Jacksonville. No one thought about Mark Brunell. They thought more about Tony Baselli on the offensive line than it did Brunell. Cat's gonna be good because again he'll be getting those. He'll be a problem for Joel Embiid. He'll be a problem for how old is what's McCullough with the Celtics now? I'm trying to think. You know what I'm talking about for the Celtics. He pushing about 58. They gonna Cat if Cat's healthy and motivated, and the way Tibbs runs Cats, they're gonna be a problem. I think the Knicks. I got to see what happens with Milwaukee and of course with Philly, but the Knicks got to be penciled in as probably the second or third best team in the East right now. Al Horford, ain't he like 68? Yeah, because that's what Cat's going to do. Bring Horford out, Porzingis out. That was a tactful move. It's a smart move by the Knicks. They they get away with that move because of Brunson, and this is going to help them bring in some free agents. If they could get Dolan out as owner, I think they would be a threat to win. He was. I love Sterling. Sterling was a better talent than his brother. People who didn't watch don't know. It's just that Shannon stayed healthy and played long, but Sterling was a natural freak. Had the jewelry too. Sterling was bad. He just got hurt. Brett Favre, he stayed healthy, and you got him and Freeman, Antonio Freeman, they would have been scary. Sterling was bad. Funny you mentioned him out the blue. Sterling was bad, and Shannon was great, but you asking me who had more natural talent was Sterling. Yeah, he was, but was Arnell mentioned Sterling. Sterling Sharp never gets discussed when we talk about guys that woulda coulda. I'm just saying because I never hear them say it. I like Freeman too. I still remember that one catch. I think it was against the fight with that ricochet. He's underrated, underappreciated. Yeah, he was quick and agile. Yeah. And what about that freaky tight end y'all had? You know what I'm talking about. Your freaky tight end. You remember who I'm talking about. He was good too for them too. Mm-hmm. So Finley. Yeah. But anyway, that's my thoughts and takes about that dog. We were just talking about yeah. Keenan McCardle never gets up. So yeah, even though I'm really into basketball, I'm gonna say right now that's a good move for both teams. I think Minnesota will benefit too. I think Minnesota got a Julius Randle be a good fit with Cat, not with Cat, but I mean with Ant. He's healthy and motivated because he gives them flexibility. So I think that's a good move for both New York and Minnesota. But if you ask me who gets to be the winner, I think it's the Knicks. Because Brunson's style, when he gets worn down, and you got a guy like Cat who can inside out like that, that's a big W. Don't be surprised if you hear some people comparing Cat to Patrick Ewing, style wise, if he be an impact as a center. Because if the Knicks do anything with him, you're going to hear him being mentioned. You will. And they needed a jolt. Considering James Dolan is the owner, they need all the jolt they can get. So, okay, come on now. I got about 10 more minutes. Yeah, I saw that. He's no longer there, though. And Purdy looked good. Yeah, Purdy looked good. They won that game. Seattle is just an offensive one sided. They don't play no defense, though. Well, Geno Smith is playing better, but they're not a good team. They can stat pad. Yeah, Julius Randle is. He should be better than what he is. He settles. He could be really to almost great. He's one of those guys that got that potential, but he doesn't. That's why Tibbs made that move. That's a no brainer for Tibbs because he's a ball handling control freak who wants to take a lot more shots, and he's not consistent. At least with Cat gonna give you. I'm gonna call him Santa Claus because he got nothing but gifts in the bag. You gotta call him Santa Reed, Andy Santa Claus. That's why I call him because he been getting gifts. Hmm. He's Santa Claus, Mr. Claus, because that's what happens. You go from Philly to Kansas City, you gotta call him Santa Claus. He got a big old stuffing bag. He's the bag for real. Santa Claus, Andy Santa Claus Reed, Jenny Trick, Jenny Bus Bus, Jenny Bus Bus, Jenny from the block. That's what we call it, Jenny from the blocks. Hmm. He ain't gonna have to get on the block more with New York because when they're gearing up to play Boston, he'll be able to be flex. It's gonna be it's a long shot era. He'll make some adjustments. He's not gonna have to get on the block because Brunson's gonna do more blocking than him. Jalen's going to post and drive, pitch and shoot, pitch and catch. That's what they're trying to do. You'll see Brunson going to the hole and posting more. That's how effective this is going to be. Think about what Brunson did. Top 10 MVP consideration going to 2 rounds without having a presence like that before. Now you get a guy like Cat. Come on now. Cat ain't going to have to do much of nothing. Jenny from the blocks. 304 for real. She's for the code. Jenny Code. Jenny Code. And Santa Claus Reed. Jenny for the blocks and Andy Santa Claus. Nobody wants him. Nobody in there right. And he keep talking like a crack. They're gonna put him in a straight jacket. I got that video coming. Actually, it'll be coming real soon. I finished it up. I already got it. I just gotta put it out. He got a lot of sway and pull for a buster. He's good. I know. Listen, I'm not calling him a buster in terms of he can score. But when you see my video, I'm gonna give you a sneak peek right now about, Bradley Beal. 29 points, 29 wins, and $29 million. Because he gives you the points, he gives you those wins, and that's the money he wants. That's what you get with him. 29, 29, 29. He should. They ain't gonna win. They ain't got no defense. They got no structure. And who's the leader on that team? Let Bradley Beal play 82 games and they still won't crack 51 wins. Yep. And no one cares. No one cares. He's got a no care career. He's a junior whopper DeMar DeRozan no one cares about. He's got his fans and his family, and that's it. No one sits around clapping about no Bradley Beal. Him and Russell Westbrook were putting up stats in Washington. How many games did they win? 30. Triple doubles every night. And getting waxed by 50 points every night. No one cared. Sidekick of what? What you winning, no Bradley Beal? And you BB? You're not BB King. Please. My video's coming. I'm gonna drop that. I'm gonna have that thing out after we do this live stream. Cause you got me going. I'm already got it cooked. I cooked him too. He cracks me up. He's got some major delusion. And Booker ain't that dude either. Ain't nothing there in Phoenix. They got talent, but they're not. But prove me wrong. By all means, please prove me wrong. Because I want to see y'all get by Dallas. I want to see you get by Denver. I want to see you get by Minnesota. Prove me wrong. Get by OKC. Yeah, because that was the 4 teams, and we didn't even talk about Sacramento. Okay, that's what you do. So that's what I'm talking about. And do what? Top form and do what? He's playing for 30,000 points. The Rockets, yep. Udoka got them. People don't forget about they on the come up. New Orleans, if Zion Williams is skinny, watch out. They've got something to play for. So you got a lot of storylines in the West. You got a lot of storylines out west. I don't know what KD can do except get to 30,000 points. He can stat pad and try to stay healthy and play about 55 games. I can't see him playing more than 60. The teams ain't going to win nothing. Top four means he wants his butt to get up out of there. Where he going to go? I know. DeRozan is a good pick. Him and De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, they got a chance to be a top 3 or 4 team in the West. Well, you don't want none of that. And they got Doodoo Brown as their coach. Mike Brown know how to coach you up. Tell you, they just got to learn how to play some defense, get some defensive stops. They could be a top 4 team in the West. West ain't no joke. This year, I agree. This year, I agree because I really believe that everybody's looking at Denver and Minnesota and Dallas and OKC, but no, it sucks. It's garbage. Walking around with a Walmart banner and a token trophy and mess. That don't. What's that about? That's what got that Los Angeles mayor fired. She's a tumble. Well, the Lakers got the in-season tournament. Who cares? You think Shaquille O'Neal and Michael Jordan and Tim Duncan play for some old Walmart trophy that you can get in the discount section with the orange tag that you had to glue the stick on? Come on now, it's a joke. No, it's garbage. And Adam Silver's always thinking of stupid stuff, stupid ideas. Of course he did, because he understood that they ain't got a lot of time. Once you start winning, your time is, that's what Patrick Mahomes is doing. It's happening right before your eyes. Mahomes is doing that too. I watch Mahomes. He ain't playing. He come ready. Shoot, you know, cats be built differently. That's all. So I'm gonna be on for 4 more minutes. I got 4 more minutes, so let's make it count. My food is starting to cook, smelling weird, and got some people come through. Got some good questions tonight too, and I definitely got inspired to it. I'm gonna take a couple with me. It's the preseason. Let's not get carried away. You saying the Pistons look good? There's a whole 82 game season. This is a team that looked like they were headed towards 78 losses. I don't know about look good, but they are. I will say this: every 20 years they're good for a run, and then they suck for like 18. You mean the Guardians? Oh, no one is getting no one's giving either one of those teams any love to come out the American League. But that was a tough division. I remember Detroit, Cleveland, and Kansas City. So okay, the Bills playing. So the games I'm interested in tomorrow. Let me get my sheet out. Baltimore, Washington, of course. Detroit, Dallas. He pretty much will be fired. Yeah, Baltimore, Washington, Detroit, Dallas, and the strangest game, and Buffalo and the Jets, of course. The strangest game, though, is actually Philly and Cleveland. Because, oh boy, who knew? That's a strange game. Yeah. New Orleans and Tampa Bay carry some weight too tomorrow. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know if he'll get fired, but if he don't get to the World Series, he got to at least get there because they got Soto. So now they got no excuse. They got to at least get to the show because Aaron Judge needs it too. Aaron Judge is playing for his reputation. So is Gene Carlos Stanton, but Aaron Judge's legacy on the line here. Are you a regular season stat pattern? You, that's cold. That's funny, Ted. You a comedian. Cleveland can't even put up 20 points most Sundays. I think it's in Washington. That's a funny. That's cold. He hates Philadelphia. That's funny. Deshaun Watson is due for something, but I don't know what it is. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's the game everyone's looking for. Baltimore, Washington. That's not no upset. That's an upset stomach. That's not no upset. Beating Philadelphia ain't no upset. Cleveland is underachieving and they stink, but that's not no upset. But if Philadelphia loses that game, Salami might get fired. Belichick might be getting a call on line three. Because Cleveland sucks. I mean, They're getting held to 15 points, 16 points. And Deshaun's throwing bad picks. They looked horrible against Washington. So I look at, different games have different meaning, but those are the games that I'm looking. Of course, the Bills playing the Jets. Now, he's trying to get a job because he wants to get that all-time record. That's why he's playing nice, and he want everybody to think he's a butthole. That what's up. He know he turned off a lot of people, and he's got egg on his face because Tom Brady got another ring. His ego is torn, and he got stuck with Mac and Cheese Jones. So he has to play nice because he got to look like he wants it because he's trying to break the record. Because if Mac and Cheese Jones and him had been quarterback and coach, it probably take him 20 years to get to the magical record because he only win like 2 or 3 games. Even if they extend the season to 20 games, Mac and Cheese was only good for about 2 or 3 wins every year. You do the math. Now, Daniels is more poised. He can run and mobile, but he throws more directly. He's more already acclimated for quarterbacking. Lamar was more Lamar's style. They was different cadences. Well, yeah, because I think they look at Eli like he was lucky because Eli is like a different animal in the postseason. I already told you. Regular season, he looks like he don't belong. Postseason, he's as good as almost anybody I've ever seen. I can't figure it out. I don't know if it's the drugs. I don't know what it is. He's the boy wonder for real. Because his regular season wasn't nothing memorable. It's average. Postseason, he got ice in the veins. But they still got 5 more rings in him. So I think that first one, because there was so much flukiness between that sack out of the grass and that ball sticking to Tyree's helmet, and the second one that ball that was kind of overthrown, but it could have been caught by Wes Walker. Those two things, it was just a game of inches, really. A couple plays here and there. But then you could say the same thing about Brady and Belt when they won those rings against Carolina, against Philly, against the Rams. It's a game of inches. Extra point, field goals make, it's so. Hey, the same thing that works for you can work against you because it's always a game of inches. Your competition. It's not been no blowouts. Same thing that's going on with Patrick Mahomes. He hasn't had that Super Bowl yet, like Montana did, where you go, whoa, he just spanked that butt. So Brady didn't either. Brady had the great one against Philly, but yeah, Brady had that one against Philly, but they didn't play no defense that game. So I'm going in 7 minutes too, by the way. So 7 more minutes. Yeah, Walker catches that pass, they probably win that Super Bowl. There was a couple plays in both those Super Bowls that were winnable, but because the Giants slowed them down so much, they got physical with Brady. They hit him. Strahan hit him, and they were able to, so. But they still got 5 more rings in them. I mean, you ain't win everything. You won a lot. That's all I got to say about that, though. But I'm looking forward to Baltimore, Washington tomorrow. So, 8 votes. It's now 75% says no, 25 says yes. So the polls have been consistent. I've been here almost 2 hours, and Magic and Obama, you're not getting no love in here. That's all right. I ain't got no problem with it. I like the honesty. It's probably the most honest polling when I see 50-50, but this one is like people really took exception to them supporting Kamala. Which sometimes there may be the viewers or some of the actual voters, but it's cool though. I don't mind. What you mad about? You should be mad about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't let him 4 trips down in the end zone and he's scared to ride, go in there. Brady hit those passes. Brady was a little bit erratic in the second half. He threw 2 bad picks though. But they did enough to win. Again, Aaron Rodgers came up short. That's been the narrative. There's always some good college football, except if you're a Michigan Wolverines fan like myself. Not playing that good, so it's gonna be interesting what happens with Alabama though. That was the big news last week. I did a video about it. Okay. Yeah, lost to Washington. That sucked. I told you I don't have no delusions about my team. I knew they weren't gonna win none this year. I told you the Fruit of the Loom Bowl. How done are they though? They got one loss. Let's see if they keep them drop them to 12. If they stay around magical fifth or sixth, they'll be in a bowl contention. Because you know they love Bama. But that loss, the last 2 weeks they were vulnerable. They ain't playing no defense. They ain't playing no defense when Saban was there, but they really ain't played no defense this year. Just lost. Just lost. Lost to Bama. Lost a great game to Bama too. Lost a great game. And if it wasn't for Alabama, do you know that Georgia would be like on some UCLA 1970s like 60-0 run? They lost 3 games to Bama. That's all they lost to. They are like a juggernaut. So got a good squad though. Okay. Yeah, but I figure Ohio State will get some love. Penn State's gonna be interesting. They don't lose those 2 games this year. We'll see what they do. So that's what's up. I got 3 more minutes before I call it a time because I've been on for 2 plus. The Hurricanes? You talking about the Hurricanes? They're not no threat though. They got what I call a really good team. They're not great though. They're not. They're not. They're not where they were. But I'll shut up if they spank up Ohio State. I'll shut up if they beat Alabama or they beat somebody like that. I can't really get excited about what I'm saying. They in that really good to very good, but we not looking at them as elite. Not like you know what I'm getting at. So okay, I got 2 more minutes. Dennis about calling me. I might come on in the middle of the week. I'll see. Definitely will be on towards the end of the week for sure. Glad everybody, the people, everybody that came through, appreciate you. Thanks for the voting. Appreciate the support with everything. We touched on a lot of topics, of course, as always. We was going all over the place as usual. Some funny stuff, talking about some different folks and some things. So I got some videos coming, and I will tell everybody if y'all want to see the yeah, watch out for the videos. They're coming really soon. Ted, I got that video with Bradley Beal already. It's gonna drop. I got a good mark on him, so you'll see it's coming. But appreciate everybody coming through. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay warm, stay focused. Prayers and thoughts again with Florida and everybody going through any of these storms, everything that's going on. And anything that's coming out, we'll stay in touch with everything. So appreciate everybody, and I will be back in a few days. I got a lot of videos coming, so be on the lookout. I'm hitting some left and right, so we're gonna be all right here on these YouTube streets, though. So conclusion and whatnot. So I am just waiting for my last minute because there was no more questions and everything kind of came and went. So I am going to sign off in just a matter of a minute. Just waiting to see as it becomes official. And the last totality was 75% said no. So Magic and Obama, oh well. Peace and the best. Catch you soon. I'm out.